Hey team, roughly 3 months ago there was one game that everybody spoke of in the Pokemon community. PokeRogue. A free-to-play roguelike Pokemon game where your goal is to beat 200 battles in a row, and after every battle you get a selection of items that make you stronger and stronger and stronger. There are basic items like potions, revives, X attack, the XP shares that will let you get XP more quickly, but also more interesting items like the Grip Claw that gives you a 10% chance to steal items from your enemy, the Multi-Lance that makes your move hit more than once per turn, Healing Charm that gives you back more HP, permanent stat upgrades, or even a DNA splicer that is letting you fuse 2 Pokemon together. And there are a lot more than that. But you most likely already heard of this game because it went pretty viral. But I found out that I'm apparently too bad at Pokemon and it took me just way too long to beat this game. At least the monotype challenge of the game. A game mode where you can only use Pokemon with the same type. And because I love steel type Pokemon, I thought a challenge like that could be a good first video to improve my editing and script writing skills, and took on the mono steel type challenge in PokeRogue. I vibed, I struggled, I cried, I laughed, I won, and this is how. I am not sure how many attempts it took me, but definitely more than average. Let's say it were roughly 15 attempts, but those 15 attempts weren't for nothing. We found out what steel type Pokemon were helpful in this game, was kinda useless, and which ones are a must have. The first attempt we run with Tinkaton, because the Fairy Steel combi is incredible for the last boss, but we weren't really successful because we were lacking a lot of attack power with it. At some point we got Katana out of an egg. It had a quiet nature and it was not really helpful at all, because speed is an incredible stat in this game. But we got way further because of its ability Beast Boost, that increases its best stat after every kill. For Katana that would be the attack stat. With Katana it got way easier, but I still couldn't get consistent runs going. But at least we got a lot of eggs in the meantime, and with those eggs we got Hope. And the Hope's name was Magiana, a Fairy Steel type Pokemon with the Soul Heart ability. What's basically Beast Boost and boosts special attack by 1 after every kill. It's the perfect mix between Tinkaton and Katana, with a much better nature this time as well, hasty. And as soon as I saw this little robo, I was 100% convinced of it. This will be the Pokemon that will carry us to the finish line. But that's not the only thing I'm convinced of. Let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video. nah, joke, funny, haha. Of course I don't have a sponsor with 3 subs. But you could change that with only 1 click, and I promise that I won't bother you. You won't even realize that I'm in your feed. But if it takes me this long to beat a challenge like this and make a video out of it, there's no shot you will remember that you subbed to me. But I will remember. The next video will be out in approximately 6 months when I continue like this. So just subscribe and forget about me. Please, I beg. But now for real. One thing that I'm certain of is that we need more than only one strong Pokemon. Magiana is a great lead. Incredible ability, great moveset, helpful nature and great stats. A little bit slow, but most steel types are. And that's a fair trade for the insane special attack we have. For most of my runs I picked Piplup as my second Pokemon, because I thought Empoleon is the only water steel type, and with that we have at least something for these scary fire types. But that didn't really work as expected. It survived moves like Fire Blast and Flare Blitz, but Empoleon just dies because he gets outsped and his defense stats aren't that great either. That, and there was one chatter who low-key gaslighted me because I picked Empoleon every time. Like, how can someone dislike this king? What the fuck? Thanks for backseating me though. But there was one other Pokemon I had good experience with and I had my eyes on for a long time. With a very high chance to be found in early game, but we somehow rarely encountered it. So I grabbed Destiny with my own hands and made an executive decision. Rookidee will be our second starter instead of Piplup. This bird is useless until it evolves into Corviknight, because we can't use him until he gets a steel type, but Magiana will solo everything until then. If it's the early game, always bet on Magiana. But as soon as we got Corviknight, I put every defensive item on him that I could possibly find, and it took every hit like a champ. Corviknight is not rare. He's not the fastest bird, he has a hard time killing someone, and there are Pokemon with a better defense. But there's one thing that only he can do, and that makes him so strong at this run. Corviknight is the only flying steel type mon that can make use of the max mushroom in this game. With that one he gets a lot more HP, at least when we find the Dynamax band. And the mushroom item. But I wouldn't tell you about it if it wouldn't happen, right? Right? Plus, I said it before, flying steel type. To have a Pokemon that is immune to ground moves is so helpful in a mono steel type run. We are extremely scared of fire types and ground types, and our boy Corviknight helps a ton with the ground type part. Okay team, now that we built our foundation for the winning run in the mono steel type challenge, we can start talking about the first few stages. If this is going to be an easy or difficult run will be partly decided on stage 8, where we encounter our rival Ivy for the first time and see what starter Pokemon she picked. A fire type would be a nuisance, but grass and water type should be manageable and easier in the late game. Lucky us, she got a sweet little Bulbasaur, what we will hard counter in late game with most of our steel types, and especially Magiana and Corviknight. But for now we start sweeping through the early game. Stage 25 comes in really fast and it is the second rival fight. This time she has an Ivysaur that resists all of our moves, but we don't really care because we do the same, and even a Corvisquire and Mimikyu can't do anything when we have our boosted special attack. But we should be wary about the Mimikyu in the future, because of its ability Disguise that lets us never OKO this scary guy. But that's a problem for the future me. For now we take the Golden Punch item as a reward that basically gives us money for every attack we do, and in combination with an amulet coin we found earlier in this run that increases all money income by a set percentage, we have a really good and efficient way to make a lot of money. What will be really important from the stages 180 to 190. On stage 30 we finally encounter someone else in our rival. The first gym leader that we meet is Whitney. In Gen 2 and Heart Gold or Soul Silver, Whitney her Milky destroyed hopes and dreams. But that's absolutely not a problem in this game. In PokeRogue we take this role instead. We hit hard, she swaps around a lot, and we hit even harder. Easiest Whitney of my life. In this fight, by the way, you could get a quick little glimpse of how the AI in PokeRogue works. If the enemy has no effective moves or sees that it's dead, it will most likely switch. And we will abuse this one later on a lot. Especially in the rival fights, this will come in real handy. We continued the run like nothing happened, and while babbling about the best movie experience I've ever had in my entire life, we encountered the third member of our team. Burmy. Trash Cloak Burmy. This one will evolve into a bug steel type Wormadam. And even when it has shit stats, it gets really nice support moves like String Shot, Metal Sound or Protect. Plus, after we evolve Burmy, we have finally a second Pokemon that we could technically use in double battles that we encounter occasionally. Soon after that we found a Magnemite in stage 43, the number 4 on our team. And this guy is definitely a great Pokemon to encounter. Magnezone can do really great stuff later on, hitting hard, resisting stuff, paralyzing and survive an OKO because of its ability Sturdy. If it would have had Sturdy. Like, what the fuck do we want with Magnet Pull? Man. But we keep it for now. Would be stupid to not take it, huh? We evolve it into Magneton and we catch an Excadrill shortly after that. Excadrill hits hard and is relatively fast for a steel type. Plus he learns Sword Dance pretty soon. Long story short, this big mole can be a monster if we make use of it. Then on stage 53, it's time. The moment I've waited for since the start of this run. Corvisquire evolves into the love of my life. The steel type of my dreams into the bird that has the potential to make this run the winning run. Corviknight. I love this guy from the bottom of my heart. And with our newly acquired champ, we go into the stage 55 rival, and this time she has a Venusaur. But it's still not worth to go into detail here. The only thing that you can try to remember is that her Venusaur is scared of our Magiana, and she swaps out. This fact is very important for the future rival fights. But for now, Magiana is just too strong, and with the help of our other Pokemon, we can manage this battle very easily. But this will change in late game. Trust me, it gets harder. Doesn't look like it now, but it gets harder. On stage 57 we find a Togedemaru, and took that opportunity to fill our team with 6 Pokemon. And you might think, Monet, this doesn't look like a good steel type team. Yeah, you're right, but that's what we got for now. This game is still a roguelike and involves a good amount of luck. But don't worry about it, this team will get a lot better soon. For now we encounter the second gym leader, Elisa, on stage 60. And I'm sorry team, but this battle is as boring as all the other ones before. So let's just skip to our next re-encounter. On stage 67 it is Bronzong that we trade for our Togedemaru, because Togedi is in theory cool, but that's already it. Way more important than Bronzong though, we get the Mega Bracelet as a reward. What will be very important later on for our next Pokemon, Steelix, at stage 82. One of my top 10 favorite Pokemon, because it looks cool, has an insane defense stat, and it has a Mega Evolution. The only question is if we get lucky enough and find this Mega Stone. We decide to swap it for Wormadam and continue our journey with an Archaludon on stage 85. In theory a really strong Pokemon, It can have the sturdy ability, and in combination with the metal burst, it can perform really well. Metal burst is basically some kind of counter. It is a steel type move that reflects 150% of the damage taken, and it works on physical and special moves. The only downside is that it's not a minus prio move, so you actually need to be careful that you are slower than the enemy, but that shouldn't really be a problem if you know what you're doing. We swap it for Bronzong we just received earlier, because let's be honest, Bronzong was never a Pokemon that could pull the weight, other than our goat Magiana. We encounter Gym Leader number 3, Major Bob, at stage 90. And he is absolutely thrown, because he swaps way too much, and gives us the opportunity to get a lot of free hits. We are not doing big damage because our attacks are still kinda low power moves, but that changes mid-battle, when we learn Flash Cannon. Plus, one thing I didn't tell you at the start of the run, PokeRogue has a candy mechanic, kinda like in Pokemon Go. There are candies for every Pokemon that you get after using them for a specific time or when you hatch them out of eggs. And because this is not our first Magiana run, we had enough candies to get a passive. A passive in PokeRogue is just a second ability on a Pokemon. And in Magiana's case, that's Steely Spirit. Berserker, his signature hidden ability that increases steel type damage move on our side by 50%. With our newly acquired move Flash Cannon that is getting boosted by Stab and Steely Spirit, we have a 160 power move that hits like a truck. And exactly this insane power up paves us the way through Major Bob his team. We continue our journey and guess what? It's rival time again. Stage 95 and we see our rival Ivy again. But damn is she not prepared for the sweep that we are about to set up. We lead with Magiana and she leads with Venusaur. But remember team, she will switch turn 1 because Venusaur is scared of Magiana and we will make use of that scuffed switch AI. With hard swapping into Steelix and setting up the Stealth Rocks that are really helpful in PokeRogue. We expected to lose a lot of HP here on Steelix, but because we are sturdy it doesn't really matter as long as we get the Stealth Rocks up. But Ivy absolutely throws and hard swaps into Corviknight. That has nothing for Steelix. It was just scared of ground moves on Arcanine, I guess? We take this opportunity and freeze her bird with our Ice Fang, just to swap into Excadrill and set up 2 Sword Dances so that we are +4 attack and absolutely annihilate her team. Going forward, we find a Thunderstone to finally evolve Magneton into Magnezone and get our fully evolved team. Kinda. 2 more changes are about to be made, and most of you surely already know what that will be, but we get to that part a little bit later. For now we encounter the first battle where I was really afraid to wipe. We don't only have rival fights and gym leaders. There are also villain fights in PokeRogue, and in this run we got Ghetsis at stage 115. His lead is Volcarona, a Pokemon that genuinely scared me. We have nothing to swap into a Heat Wave and kill this big moth, so I made an executive decision and sacrificed Archaludon, the currently weakest bro of our team, just to be able to go into Steelix and have the option to either land an 80% accurate Stone Edge and kill, or safely get the Stealth Rocks out and be more stable on the long run. Watching my VOD while editing this, I think pressing Stone Edge would have definitely been the smarter move, because Volcarona on the field right now was most likely the scariest Pokemon in Ghetsis' team, and we should have focused on that instead of the other 5 months after this. But we decided on the guaranteed Stealth Rocks and prayed that Excadrill can survive 1 Heat Wave and hit the 90% accurate Rock Slide. And that paid off. Excadrill did not miss the most important Rock Slide in this run, and Magiana could sweep the rest of Ghetsis' team. The Stealth Rocks came in handy for the sturdy on the Caracosta, but I don't think it could have killed me anyway. So yeah, using Stone Edge would have been the smarter decision. But in the end it doesn't matter as long as you win this challenge, right? And exactly that is what we are doing here. On stage 120 we encounter Cress as the next gym leader. And this time we learned and directly led with Steelix to get the Stealth Rocks out. From here on we both switch around our Pokemon like nothing else. He gets a lot of Stealth Rock damage while we just keep resisting or immuning his moves until he gets in kill range. After this battle we collect our reward. You can't really see it because it's hidden behind my cam, but it's the Steelix side. Steelix is Mega Stone. Now it is way more bulky and the attack grew quite a bit as well. If we need to tank anything, this is our guy for now. With our newly achieved Powerhouse we go into stage 145. One of the battles I'm the most scared of because it shows how good our team really is. And you will see why in a few seconds. The next rival battle. We stick to our Magiana lead into hard swap Steelix Mega Steelix, because the past rival fights showed us how broken it is. We also tried to freeze our Corviknight with Ice Fang again, like we did last time, so we can set up Sword Dance on Excadrill again, but we didn't get this lucky this time. At least Mega Steelix is able to absolutely ward this bird. But it is getting struck down by her new ace, Shiny Rayquaza. There's absolutely nothing Steelix could have done here but to be sacrificed for the greater good. This Rayquaza is a menace. This Sky Snake ends a lot of runs, and every time I encounter it, I had the same strat. Improvising. Not the best strat I know, but this is the most fun way to play this game in my opinion. Just start the run and react to what happens on screen. We got very lucky and got Ivy to swap out her Rayquaza, and exactly that was a mistake. This just gave us an opportunity to boost our Magiana on +4 special attack. Her Rayquaza was somehow slower than us and died to our Aurora Beam. We got super lucky, I admit that, but this was not the last time we fought against her. So stay patient and watch if we can get this lucky again, or if we need to find another way to beat her. But for now we focus on the next battle in front of us, and that would be the next gym leader Rogue at stage 150. And wow, was that a whack battle. Magiana absolutely stomped this guy, just OKOing all of his mons. So let's just skip to the final villain battle and encounter Ghetsis on stage 165. On the way to Ghetsis though, we picked up a few more items, like the super important Max Mushroom that lets us evolve our beloved Corviknight into G Max Corviknight, what increases his HP quite a bit and makes him even more bulky. We picked up the Focus Sash that gives us a 10% chance to live a hit with 1 HP, and a second Amulet coin to increase the reward money. What I said earlier will be important soon in the stages 180 to 190. With our now truly fully evolved team, we battle Ghetsis, and this time he leads with Moth 2.0. Iron Moth instead of Volcarona. And this is even worse for us. After thinking for 3 minutes what the smartest thing here is, I decided to just attack with Magiana and deal as much damage as I can before sacrificing it and start praying. But PokeRogue Jesus gave us 2 crits, and because Iron Moth used Overheat, it lowered its own special attack a few times, so we survived enough hits to even kill with our strongest mon, Magiana. Definitely the carry of this entire challenge. Everything else that Ghetsis tried didn't matter at all, because everything got swept by our MVP with its broken Soul Heart ability. At this point some of you probably think, ah man, he's just getting lucky and Magiana is way too broken. And my take on that is, yeah, finally I got lucky. I had way too many attempts wiping in late game, and I will grab all the luck I can find and bring it on my side, just to be able to say I dragged my beloved steel types to the finish line. Anyway, Kabu, the last gym leader of this run that we encounter at stage 180. Kabu loves his fire types and we are super scared of them. What a perfect choice for the final gym leader. Because we were in the volcano biome anyway, we were leading with Excadrill. That was a really good decision because we could take the Charizard out for free. And against his Ninetales, our G-Max Corviknight could show what he's so good for. Stalling, roosting, tanking and brave birding. Damn, I absolutely love this armored bird. Watch how he tanks the physical Flare Blitz from Scorbunny. What the fuck? After the Scorbunny kamikazed us, we had a clean swap to Steelix, set up the Stealth Rocks, and that was basically checkmate. Kill the Torkoal somehow and win. Sandy Scorch takes 50% damage from the rocks and the rest is at 1 HP anyway. Technically a scary fight for our Steel team, but they absolutely got this. After beating Kabu, one of the strongest hurdles in PokeRogue is waiting for us. The Elite Four. Starting at stage 182, every 2 stages from here on, we fight one Elite Four member. Plus the champ at stage 190. Here a lot of money is really important, because we want to start every battle at best at full health and with all the mons alive. But without the 2 amulet coins and the lucky punch, it would be even less. We have to work with what we got, yeah? It could be worse. The Elite Four that this run prepared for us is from Gen 9. Starting with Rika, one of the characters I have the biggest crush on ever. Her team is great, her personality is enjoyable, and her design is peak. I want this woman to hold me in her arms and whisper in my ear that everything will be okay. And it breaks my heart to be the guy that ends her career as an E4 member right here and right now. Actually, it won't be me. It will my boy Corviknight. Without him, the run would have ended here for sure. We tried a little bit with Excadrill, we tried to make use of Magiana again, but if it's a physical attacker, always bet on Corviknight. Look at those Rock Slide hits. Whack. Icicle Crash? Whack. Stage 184 Poppy? Not so whack. Actually, sweating a little bit, but at least this battle will show us who the better Steel type trainer is. We decide to lead with the other guy that I love because of his defensive stat and his Stealth Rock move, Mega Steelix. Corviknight is not the only mon that can tank hits. Stealth Rocks will be super helpful here because of all the sturdy Steel types, so we set them up turn 1 obviously. Even so, Poppy didn't have any sturdy mons, but we did not know that at that point in time. 1v1ing the Corviknight was the perfect job for our Steelix. And Big Damn on the Scissor was also a good job. Magiana had a hard time to kill the Scissor, but it got the job done. After that we started to play a little bit more reckless, because we still had Excadrill in the bag who would be very helpful on the rest of her mons. And our last wall Corviknight was still standing as well, so Excadrill did the job and paved the way. For stage 186 we managed to revive our Pokemon and got back to full HP. But we are running low on money, so let's hope Larry, the part-time normal gym leader, part-time flying elite form member, will let us through without taking fatal damage. Aurora Beam, Aurora Beam, Aura Sphere, Aurora Beam, Aurora Beam, Aurora Beam. I am so sorry, Larry. I love this man. He already is the most depressed and most overworked man in Pokemon I've ever seen, and this didn't help his mental at all. After saying sorry and stealing all of Larry's money, we keep going and take on Hustle, the dragon guy, the last elite form member of this run. This battle is basically a repetition of the Larry battle 20 seconds ago, with the only difference that I don't feel anything this time. Magiana, strike him down. See ya, Hustle, go cry somewhere else, I don't care. Stage 190, Champion Jita. In Scarlet Violet, everyone was disappointed by her, but will this be any different in this game? At least she leads with Glimmera this time and is able to set up toxic spikes, but we don't care anyway, because our team is full of steel types and she swaps out anyway. Letting us set up Stealth Rocks again and gives us an opportunity to sweep with Magiana once again. Sorry team, I mean this is the lucky winning run. Jita is bad, Magiana is broken. I'm trying, this is my first video, I'm trying to make it interesting, but the answer is another sweep. I'm sorry. But at least I can promise you it's the last one of today's video. So forgive me. So please forgive me for sweeping. We took away Jita's title as a champion and set foot in the absolutely beautiful Paradox biome, where we can do nothing at the moment except looking at some cool Pokemon. Until we got the last rival fight here. Remember her, Ivy? Stage 195, the last rival battle against her. The probably most difficult battle in this run. At least when you know what's going on at stage 200 and are a little bit prepared. What we are not, by the way. This time we forgot to lead with Magiana to bait her Corviknight out, but that didn't really matter because our Corviknight does exactly the same. We hard swap to Steelix like we did in previous rival fights to set up the very important Stealth Rocks for her Rayquaza and Arcanine. While we are 1v1ing her bird with Steelix, we got two options. Plan A, we get a freeze and set up with Excadrill. Plan B, we improvise. And let's be honest, we got way too lucky in this run so far. We didn't get the Ice Fang freeze and start to improvise. Her answer to that is her flagship, shiny Mega Rayquaza. I have no idea where she got that one from, but we will just accept it. We sacrifice our Steelix and get out the big guns. Magiana. Turns out, Mega Ray is scared of that one. What I can understand, to be honest. She learned from previous battles against us and doesn't underestimate the Fairy Steel type mon anymore. But that was a big mistake, because Magiana is not our ace anymore. The indomitable, unyielding, adamant G-Max Corviknight is our champion, and he will prove it once and for all. A Pokemon worthy to be my current favorite Pokemon of all time. And I am proud of what this bird accomplished in this run. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Corviknight. You are my number one in every universe. Finish Ivy once and for all and bring us to stage 200, Eternatus. The biggest menace of this run, and this is how I beat it. Do you guys still remember Magnezone? The electric type we caught very early in the run and never used it because we had Magiana? Now is its time to shine. Magnezone wears the Multi-Lens item. That reduces the power of moves but lets it attack twice per turn. That's especially nice for moves that gives a stat boost or lowers an enemy stat. In this case though, we use it to get a higher chance with Discharge to paralyze the Eternatus. And it works. We need all the damage we can, so just clicking Thunder Wave would feel bad. After the Eternal Beam, the Eternatus needs to recharge for one turn. And we use that opportunity to get out the big dam. In this case, Magiana again, with Aurora Beam. And the Fairy Steel typing is incredible to immune the Dragon and Poison moves as well. That's basically why we picked Magiana as a starter, because the Fairy Steel type combi is super broken here. We bring it down to 25% and this is where the real battle starts. Starting with phase 2, it evolves into Eternamax Eternatus, recovers to full HP, gets one more HP bar, gets rid of the para, achieved a new moveset and the black hole item that steals an item from us each turn. But at least it's a 2v1 now, huh? The best thing here to do would be definitely start thinking and stop improvising, but that's not how we game here. And make the worst decision and get greedy. Just trying to do as much damage as we can while Eternatus is just getting stronger and stronger each turn, because it steals our items and gets stat boosts. But our wall of steel types stands firm. Everyone does exactly what it has to do to win this battle, and with that the Mono Steel type challenge. Magiana hits hard, Steelix does chip damage, Magnezone goes for the para, Corviknight tanks the moves, Archaludon waits to get sacrificed, and Excadrill goes for the kill. Everything perfectly balanced, like it's supposed to be. PokeRogue is one of the most fun experiences I've had in a long time with Pokemon, and I can't wait to get back to this game in the future to be the same run with a Mono Water type team. But for now it's enough and I will go back to my beloved Nuzlocke. Team. This was my first video in this kind of style. And I know my German accent is bad, but it's hard to speak fluent English, But I still hope it was worth a like, worth a sub maybe, and I would be grateful if you could stop by on my Twitch channel. I'm live every day, and if that's not your thing, I hope you would click on my next video again. Until then, goodbye.